Hello, and welcome back to the Grunt Perspective. I'm over here on this side of the camera, and what I want to talk about today is the difference between modularity and versatility and how they apply to the infantrymen. So this is a continuation in the series that I've been doing called Kit Guidelines. It's kind of like a virtual SOP of sort. I've done a video about NVGs, about IFACs. Obviously, I'm doing this video, and I have a few more planned. But to get started to talk about these things, first, I think we need to define what they mean because they are kind of used interchangeably, but they don't exactly mean the same thing. And this is just my definition of what these two words mean in relation to equipment. So we'll start with modularity. What modularity means is the ability to quickly and easily change your kit or pieces of your kit to allow you to do some different things with it, right? So the most common example are things like placards that dudes will have a 5.56 placard and they'll have a 7.62 placard or an AK placard or something like that. And when they want to shoot those guns, they just put those placards on, and then the rest of their kit is, unchanged, and it all works out great. Another example that's kind of new are the orbital molly panels from Axle Advance. They're kind of like a one loop, one wrap, Velcro one wrap. That's what it's called. A Velcro one wrap like panel that you mount a pouch to, and then it can wrap onto a cummerbund, a Velcro lined cummerbund, and then you can take them off and you can put them on as you need. So to keep with modularity, there's a couple problems with modularity as it applies to the infantryman. Having a modular kit works well for a lot of people that mainly have the ability to have some kind of kit bag or box that before they go and do something, they can open that up. They can pull out what they need. They can put in what they don't, which is a key point, the ability to put shit in there and leave it there, right? And then they can go out and do their thing, and then they can come back and just rinse and repeat that process. Which leads me to the first of the problems as it applies to the infantrymen is we have this equipment, right? We have one set of equipment, and we have a backpack, either a assault pack or a large rucksack, and the contents of either of those backpacks is going to be things like ammunition, water, food, and a small amount of like personal equipment, things like your sleeping equipment, your rifle maintenance kit, socks, and things like that. So we don't really have the weight or the space to sacrifice to carry any of this like modular equipment that we can use if we have the opportunity to, right? And some people might say like, oh, well, I mean, you'll have the weight if you're mechanized infantry. And yes, you may be able to get away with the weight, but the space is still a problem, right? You have a pack, especially if you're mechanized, you probably have a very small pack, a assault pack really. And that needs to contain all the things that you need. Or even if you have a main pack and you're mechanized, it's like strapped to the outside or something like that, then you just don't want to make it more bulky and heavy than it needs to be. But in the two most common applications of infantrymen being mechanized and foot mobile, for mechanized it doesn't really make sense, and foot mobile it really doesn't make sense because no one is going to carry any of this extra like placards and like a modular equipment and things like that. And the other reason why it doesn't apply well is because we have billets, and there's millions of dollars that are dedicated to training people to do these billets well and effectively. For example, the platoon commander is always the platoon commander. The squad leaders, the team leaders, the grenadiers, the riflemen, the machine gunners, they are always those billets, right? That is what they do. And we're not just changing stuff around for the sake of changing stuff around. Does it happen? Absolutely, which is where having a versatile kit is much more valuable than having a modular kit. Like if you are a rifleman who sometimes shoots the SAS and most of the time you shoot your 5.56 gun, then maybe you have two different placards, right? But if you're going out to train or to the field or whatever, and you know that you're carrying the SAS, then you're going to use your 7.62 placard. You're not going to bring a 5.56 placard and if you want to pass the SAS off to someone else. Like that's silly, that's dumb. You're not going to do that. And that goes for every weapon system that we have. Like the RO is always the RO. Like everyone is always doing the job that they're going to do. So all that being said, though, sometimes it does happen. It's happened to all of us, right? And that's where having some versatility inherent to your kit can be helpful for you, because it allows you within reason to do some different jobs and still be okay at doing those jobs, or just carry some different things for some different kinds of operations that you're going to be doing, or you could potentially do. So with that out of the way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my own equipment, and I'm going to talk about some of the ways that I like to keep it very versatile. I have a bunch of stuff off to the side here that I'm going to use to demonstrate some things with. And then when I'm done, feel free to drop down in the comments all of your questions and things, or any comments that you want to add about your own gear is much appreciated. But to get started, I'm going to take a sip of the extended mag White Monster with the switch. To get started, one of the best ways that you can maintain some versatility is just to have some extra space, right? So my kit here looks very similar to what a rifleman's kit would look like. You know, we can see that my primary weapon is a 5.56 rifle, and I have some additional pouches. I got some frag pouches and then some GP pouches and things like that. But this is essentially a rifleman's kit, right? But being able to maintain some extra space is extremely versatile, because it allows you to carry some extra things. It might not be the most optimal way to carry it, but it does perform the function of carrying the shit that you need to carry, which is the key takeaway here. So one of the ways that I like to do that is by having a dangler. This is a Spiritus brunch box, and it's a very large pouch. So if you are a shorter guy, or you got like some kind of short torso kind of dimensions, then it might not be the one for you. But I really like this because it's large, and I have put all kinds of stuff inside there. Well, the main thing that I really love about it is these charge loops on the back here are large enough to carry pop-ups. You can carry 3 of those inside of there, right? Everyone that's in the military or has been a junior guy in the infantry probably has the shared experience of being about to go and do something, and then your immediate NCO hands you a bunch of stuff that you need to carry, and it needs to come with you to the objective that you're going to, right? And you got nowhere to put it, right? This is one of those common things that gets handed to people, because these things are a motherfucker and no one likes to carry them. So dudes are pretty quick to pass these things off, right? This is a good way to carry it, right? And but yeah, the brunch box. Other than that, though, inside here, I have gloves for right now, but I would normally be wearing these. And the only other thing that's inside here is a rangefinder and an air panel with a signal mirror tucked inside of it. And the rest of it is empty, other than the front. I have a multi-tool and a flashlight. But the whole point of this is that the majority of this pouch is empty and available for extra stuff. So say, you're a rifleman, you're a junior guy within your platoon, you're normally just a rifleman, you're not a grenadier, and you get given the M32 and you need to obviously you need to take it with you to the objective and you need to use it, right? So that's some dummy 40 mic here. You could get whatever kind of insert that you want if you want, right? But you could fit 2 side by side here, 2 side by side there. That's 4, right? Or you could just throw a whole bunch of them inside of the pouch like that. And if you were to do it like that, then you could probably fit like 8 of them inside there if you needed to, right? And it sucks because when you open up this pouch, they're all kind of loose and like you might drop one of them or 2 of them, right? But that's again, I'm getting back to the point here that it's not going to be perfect, right? The dude that's the grenadier is going to have the kit set up to be a grenadier in an effective and efficient manner, but being able to be versatile is what I'm getting at here. So having some space for things like that, or maybe, guys don't typically get flashbangs. It's not a very infantry common thing, but maybe, you get flashbangs for whatever you're doing. You could throw a few of them inside there like so. You could fit 4 inside this pouch and you'd still be able to close it up with your air panel and your rangefinder, right? Could fit smoke grenades, 2 of them. This pouch will actually close with 2 smoke grenades, the air panel, the rangefinder, and a 152 battery inside of it. And it still has room on the back for pop-ups, right? So it's quite a large pouch if that puts it into perspective. Or it could just straight up be more rifle mags. 4 mags in there, it'll close like no problem. Other types of equipment, things like comm equipment, this is my stand-in for a dagger. It's about the same size, but throw a dagger in there, no problem. Throw things in here like 152 batteries, a bunch of them if you need them, right? But I think you get the point. A dangler is an extremely versatile pouch that if you get a large enough one, as opposed to like a really small one, you can actually do a lot with it. And that way you don't just have like a little small pouch that you can only use for like, your IFAC and pens and things like that. But that being said, you got to have the right body dimensions for it, or else it's going to be pretty uncomfortable for you. But the only thing that's normally in there is the air panel, the rangefinder, and the gloves are just in there, so they're on my kit, but they're normally on my hands. Another way that I like, or another pouch that I like that's extremely versatile, is the humble double mag pouch. Right, you can do a lot with a double mag pouch, and I've done a lot with a double mag pouch. To name a couple things here, right? A radio, all types of military handheld radios will fit in a double mag pouch. If you're going to do that, then you would need to fashion some 550 cord or some shot cord to make sure that doesn't fall out of there, right? But it's nice to have space to put a radio, even if you're not a guy that normally carries a radio, because, sometimes you get more and sometimes you need to pick one up or something like that. So having somewhere to put it is pretty nice, because it sucks to have a radio in your cargo pocket or something stupid like that. Other things, smoke grenades, a touch on the smoke grenades and like pouches for them. Most smoke grenade pouches are not tall enough to fit 2 magazines, but every double mag pouch can fit a smoke grenade. So just buy a double mag pouch instead of a smoke grenade pouch, because if you need it to be magazines, then it's obviously magazines. If you need it to be a smoke grenade, then it'll be a smoke grenade, no problem. Other things, 152 batteries, obviously, daggers. You become the nav man, or you just get some extra equipment goes in there. Water bottles, small Nalgene's will fit inside of most double mag pouches unless they're real tight. Same thing with flashbangs. You can actually fit 2 flashbangs in most double mag pouches like that. Yeah, it's the same thing for infantrymen. Like, at least in my experience, I haven't been issued a lot of flashbangs. So carrying flashbang pouches never really made sense to me. But a double mag pouch, right? Having an extra magazine pouches, that definitely makes sense. And if I need to, then it can turn into flashbangs. Same thing with 40 mic, you know, 2 in there, they're going to kind of get swallowed up. But again, not the most optimal when you're trying to flex. Frag grenades, of course, you could fit probably 2 of them in there stacked on top of each other. Just all kinds of stuff. A double mag pouch is an extremely versatile pouch. Almost every time I've gone to the field, I've found a use for a double mag pouch. I do like to have 1 pouch with a zipper though. It's about the same size as as a double mag pouch. It's not quite as tall, so it won't actually fit magazines. But the reason I like the zipper is because the zipper is, you know, a little bit more securely closed. So if I have things that I really don't want to lose, that I want to keep on my person, I have a place to put them. You know, things like 152 batteries, I can fit 2 of them in there stacked up like that. Or, you know, anything else, things like daggers or compasses, something, right? Choose your own adventure. But I do like to have a zippered pouch. And the last way is the back of my carrier here. I feel like I should say, before I start talking about the back, that the most versatile piece of equipment that you have is a backpack, right? A assault pack size backpack is going to get a lot of things done for you and can carry all of this stuff that I have shown here, right? But the chances are a lot of these kinds of items, you're going to want to have them up and on your kit where like you can access them within like seconds, as opposed to having to pull a backpack off and, you know, pull that stuff out. So what I'm trying to say is don't feel like you should have to carry a lot of shit on the back of your carrier, because that's not true. But I would be lying to say that it hasn't came in very handy lots and lots of times to have just a big general purpose pouch on the back of my carrier. Keyword there being general purpose, right? Not a Salter back panel with magazine pouches and flashbang pouches and things like that. All those are cool. I totally get it, right? But if you don't have those specific items to carry, then those pouches that you have kind of are useless for you. So there's nothing that's going to stop me from putting any of this stuff in the back of this, right? But I can't put things that I would want to put inside here, inside of a magazine pouch, is what I'm saying. So that's kind of the way that it is. Assaulter panels and things like that, they make a lot of sense for a lot of people, but not for us, unfortunately. So the only thing that's normally back here is a 3-liter bladder, but because it's just a big pouch, you know, I've put all kinds of stuff back here. And this is actually a bigger one than what I have been using. I usually used a regular flat pack. Now I have a flat pack plus. But the only thing that's back here is normally a water bladder. I have a spare MRE main meal down in here, and then a rifle cleaning kit down there. And that's the stuff that kind of always stays in there. But, you know, I've put tarps, I put whole MREs, I put kits, things like EPW and LZ kits and things like that. I put all kinds of stuff inside of the backs of these, and it's been very useful for those couple kind of situations where you don't want to wear a backpack, but you still want to have a good amount of stuff on you. Another thing that I've done is just a bungee cord. Everyone's got a few of these, right? And you just kind of come around the whole back plate bag here, and clip it. And then I'll stuff like a Polis litter or something on the back if I really need to, and for whatever reason I don't want to carry a backpack. But that's a method. Again, don't feel like you need to be able to carry a lot of shit on the back of your plate carrier, because the chances are that it would be better carried in a backpack and easier done, more comfortably done in a backpack. So the extra pouches thing, right? It seems counterintuitive. It seems stupid because at the end of the day, right, it is more bulk, it's more weight in what is essentially just empty pouches on your kit that you're not using. But it is extremely useful and allows you to do a lot of things if you get the right kind of stuff, right? If you get the right kind of pouches, like you should be looking for kind of large, non-specific type of pouches, just things like big danglers, GP pouches, and things like that that allow you to put whatever fits inside the pouch, and you'll have some good success with it. Another thing that I do want to say is that this is all of this stuff is essentially extra space, right? This isn't you notice that as I was going through that, I didn't lose any of my original like my fighting load. I still retained all of that. I have my 6 mags here. I have one on the belt. I got a frag pouch. I got 2 more frag pouches on the belt. I got my IFAC, right? I just have space to put more stuff. Even if it just turns into more magazines, then that's fine. I'm going to appreciate having the space for it. But that's a key thing here. This should not be like I have, 3 magazine pouches. I put 2 mags inside of each pouch, and then someone hands me a radio and a smoke grenade, and I pull out 4 magazines to put a smoke grenade pouch, or to put a smoke grenade in one of my pouches and put a 152 in the other pouch, and then those four magazines are now in my pockets, on my belt maybe, or something like that. That's not good, right? You want your core, like your fighting kit stuff, to remain unchanged when you have to add this additional stuff. That's the point I'm trying to get at here. So I hope that makes sense. But I'm going to move on to the belt. I don't have a whole lot to say about the belt, but I do have a couple things, and I'll go through them as I go through them. So the belt itself is a padded war belt, which I've been experimenting with lately, and I've really enjoyed. And the belt itself is versatile in nature. It has kind of a tacky, like a material on the inside that kind of sticks to clothing, and it keeps it from moving. It kind of acts like a Velcro belt, obviously not as well. But I've used Velcro belts for years collectively at this point, right? And I just got sick of them. I got sick of the having to put them on and take them off, and having to line up the Velcro and having to make sure that it's all good, right? I got sick of it. This is easy, fast, it's comfortable, and it stays in place where I want it to stay in place. If I had to carry a pistol on a normal basis, then I would probably still want a Velcro belt. But I'm really enjoying this belt. But to talk about some of the stuff that's on it, right? The first thing is just a magazine pouch. This is a SRMP from Haley Strategic. And I really like this one because of the insert. And I really like this kind of like a Blue Force gear, like a 10-speed kind of thing that's going on the front of it. Obviously, it can be used for an additional magazine, but it can be used for anything that you would use a 10-speed pouch for, which is also an extremely versatile pouch. Mag, tourniquet, notebook, air panel, zip ties, zip cuffs, chem lights, like everything that you could think of that is approximately a magazine size will fit inside of there. And it's pretty freaking useful. Or it could just be another mag, right? which is always appreciated. The next thing here is a canteen pouch. I like to have at least one hard container of water on me when I can. I always have a 3 liter bladder, right? But I like to have a hard container if possible. But the good thing about it is if I really need to, then I can take that out and I can use this for whatever, right? I could put a bunch of 7.62 link inside there if I needed to, or I could put smokes, fit a couple smokes in there. I could fit a bunch of 40 mic in there, and I could undo this Velcro cover so I don't have to deal with the buckle. And it's just kind of a Velcro closure, help keep things secure if I'm using it for like loose munitions and things like that. A fuck ton of flashbangs, all kinds of flashbangs inside there. Or, it could just be more ammo, up to 4 rifle mags inside this pouch, right? And it's not pretty, it's not clean, it's not fast, but it is more, right? And sometimes that is what you want. So again, just kind of large, non-specific pouches that you can use to carry a lot of different things, as opposed to having, a dedicated canteen pouch. On the back here, this is my nods pouch. I actually just got this yesterday from a Carcajou Tactical. This is just what I keep my nods in a like hard box. But if I really needed to or wanted to, I could take that out. I could put that somewhere else, and I could use this to carry, again, any kind of large item that could go back there, boxes, a 7.62, or things like that. I wouldn't want to do that, but I could. IFAC's not going to move. Tourniquet's probably not going to move. Knife by itself is one of the most versatile pieces of fucking gear that you can have. You can do all kinds of things with a knife. So you should try to carry a fixed blade knife. And that's about it, right? On the belt, there's not a whole lot to talk about, but I think you get the gist, right? It's just having what you need to carry your combat load for your billet, and then just having a little bit of additional space, right? If you got a slick like Molly on the front of your placard or your pouches, then you should consider like just throwing on some Blue Force Gear 10 speeds or something like that, because it's going to allow you to do or to help other people do their jobs, right? There's been countless times that I have had to carry some form of munition, help people get ammo to other places and do things like that. And that's like a very infantry thing, right? Is just being able to move stuff is commonly the name of the game, right? So, or if you got space on your cummerbunds, then consider adding some double mag pouches, because you can do a whole lot with them. But I hope that this was helpful. I hope it makes sense. Just like I said in the beginning, feel free to drop your questions. Feel free to talk about how you like to set up your kit down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.